Welcome to Stock Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startup businesses to be wildly successful. So today we're going to be talking about digital marketing, and my guest is Josef Katz from Coverright.
I've been called also all sorts of things over the years, so
I am so sorry.
No, that's all right.
So let's talk about digital marketing and what kinds of things do startups in particular need to think about first?
So I've been in the startup space for a long time, and everyone wants to, find that golden nugget of marketing. I hate to break the bubble, but there's no golden nugget. Every company's got to figure out what's going to work for them. And I think it all starts with who are my customers and where are they? Is Facebook the right place for me to advertise? Is LinkedIn the right place for me to advertise? Is Google, et cetera? So it's really understanding who your customers are, where they are in the buying cycle, where are they going for that information, and then put together your marketing plan around that. So if your people aren't online, digital media is not going to help you, right? So it really comes down to understanding who your customers are, where they are, and how to target them on those platforms. And I tell people this all the time, like, yes, anyone could set up a Google account, anyone could set up a Facebook ads account and run ads. That's not marketing. That's spending money, in my mind, in my personal opinion. To really utilize those platforms, you need someone who knows how to run those platforms and use them effectively. And that comes down to someone either on a team or an external partner who can help you run those ads and target them properly and optimize them accordingly.
Okay, so let's talk about content a little bit, because it's my understanding that marketing is about two things. One, visibility, and two, your call to action. So
call to action is critical.
So let's talk about visibility. And are there different ways to present yourself depending on which social media you're using?
I think if you're building a brand, you want your brand to be consistent across all those platforms. How you use those platforms, you want to adapt for the platform, right? On LinkedIn, you want to have a more professional appearance, tone of voice. On Instagram or TikTok, you can have a little bit more fun and maybe a little bit more lighthearted in your approach. But at the same time, you want to think, where's my brand's tone of voice? Am I that happy-go-lucky kind of brand, or am I very structured and not as more rigid and not as flexible in how I say things and do things? Maybe it's because of compliance or some regulatory issues, but you want to make sure you got it the right tone of voice across all those platforms.
Okay. Is there a common mistake you see made by startups when it comes to digital media?
Yeah, I see lots of mistakes. The first mistake I see is everyone's chasing the topic of the day. Maybe it's influencer marketing, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Just because everyone's talking about a particular digital media topic does not mean it's working for them, does not mean it's right for you. Should you evaluate it? Yes. Should you learn it? Probably. But is that where you're going to invest your time and money? To be determined. I think you need someone who really can sit through and think through that. Another big mistake I see a lot of people make, and a lot of times this comes down to just inexperience. You turn on Google ads or you turn on Facebook ads and you just forget it. It's just running. The dollars are just going out every day. Another one associated with some of those platforms, more on the Google side or Bing side, is you start just accepting all the recommendations that are being made by their AI bot, right? So like all of a sudden they suggest, you increase your budget by 50%. Sure. Yeah, that'll work. You'll spend more money, but it doesn't mean you're going to get more return on that investment. Read what it says. Don't just apply all. Don't just accept all. It's easy to just click the button, and that's what they love doing, right? They make more money when you spend it on their platforms.
Right. One of my other guests suggested that if you're going to start an ad, you need to test it. So drop it on a Friday with a call to action, or a day when you can sit there at the computer and be able to respond to those calls to action immediately.
Testing is a core function of digital marketing, right? So if you're just throwing up an ad and ignoring it and forgetting about it, you're wasting money. if you're not testing and learning throughout that process, you're missing opportunities. So you don't know what you don't know until you test and learn. Maybe your call to action is, the wrong call to action. Maybe your image is the wrong image. Maybe your headline is the wrong headline. Maybe the color scheme is the wrong. Like, you could change pretty much every variable on these ads, on these digital platforms. Test it, right? It doesn't cost you any extra to test it. Run an A, B, C, D, however many versions you want, and learn from it.
Mm-hmm. Are there ways to test things off the platform?
You can also just ask people, people in the industry that you're in, just to get some feedback. I would say you could look at your competitors, but I would just caveat that with, you don't know what's working for your competitors, and just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's working.
You have to jump in, you have to know who your customer is, and you have to test the message, right?
Yeah. There's obviously a lot more, like, as you get into the weeds with these things, but yes, those are some of the key elements. Is
there some little known secret to digital marketing that you maybe have?
Little known secrets. I wrote years ago, I wrote a blog post about marketing secrets. Every business has their secret, some secret sauce. If it was a real secret, then it would be a secret. Everyone knows, like, you can Google, how to do X, Y, or Z on these platforms. It really comes down to the creativity of the person running these ads and understanding their market. Most of the time, the biggest gain you're going to be able to get from some of these platforms is getting creative about your targeting. Can I find my target audience in a way that is kind of not as intuitive as you might think, right? Is there a group they're a part of? Is there a interest that they have that no one else has that, we're not thinking about? Just kind of going out of the box a little bit and trying to figure that out is usually going to help you. Testing, learning what's working, exploring, if you see something new, poke around, get to know it, try it out, before you spend a ton of money. You could test for very little money and get a sense if it's going to work or not.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Josef Katz from Coverright. We will put a link in the comments so that you can get a hold of Josef again and get some more of his wonderful wisdom about digital marketing.
Happy to help anyone, discuss their business. It's obviously very personal and specific to your business. So shoot questions my way, and happy to help.
Thanks again. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff. So book a call with me to find out if we can find some synergy and help you get your startup to be wildly successful. And join us again for Stuck, Time to Improv.